Welcome back to Outdoor Canine. We're looking at quality of leads and leashes. This is very important, especially if you have a larger dog. If you have a much smaller dog, you have a little bit more leeway on it due to the lack of being able to pull with that many pounds. If you have a larger dog or have a stronger dog, it's important to make sure that we're looking at things construction-wise to make sure that everything is solid and there's no chance of things coming apart under any kind of intense stress. So we're looking at we're going to call it three different levels. You're going to have a premium level, you're going to have an okay, your good, your average everyday lead, which is fine for general purpose, and we're going to have ones that are probably very light duty or very small dog. That way there's no chance of going out there with your larger dog and having it snap some of the hardware, which can happen if there's a very stressful situation. So let's just get right into it and start looking at the premium level of, well, here we have a lead I actually have a custom made for me. As you can see, we have, if you see the scratches and dings, this thing gets used a tremendous amount. Here you can see that you have a very solid clasp. I mean, when you close that, it closes. Heavy gauge steel, and it's hard to see with the black webbing and the black stitching, but this thing is stitched to there's box stitching and also cross stitching, so this is not coming apart. And this metal is, well, it's painted black, and you can see that there are definitely some scratches. I use this lead a tremendous amount, and I've used it on with my German Shepherd, Dutch Shepherd, and a Belgian Malinois. But this is a really solid construction. It's hard. Even the other extra mounted hardware is, oh, you can see how it's stitched in there. The webbing is fantastic. This thing has even been through the washing machine multiple times because it is how dirty and filthy it gets. Here's my leather lead. This actually comes from a company called Leerburg, and you can see that this is also heavily used. It's banged and scratched. Very positive locking on this. I have never had this come apart on me. And it is leather, so you have to deal with the fact that it is leather and learning how to take care of it as well. But you can see all of the stitching up through the handle here. This is solid. One side is rough, but it's all dyed all the way across. And even rivets down along the hardware just to add that extra strength. Like I said, I use this all the time. This and the one previous to this. And I absolutely love this thing. And it's leather, so you can't beat the feel and construction of leather. Even Biothane just doesn't beat leather. Coming up into the mid-range, we have one bought from a regular pet store. I believe this is made Jump, I believe. And this is what I'm going to call your average everyday. This is not bad quality by any sense. It's just not as high as the others. Here, even we have a little bit. We have the clasp. This is good, but you can even tell here with the slightly medium quality or average quality, the hardware starts to get a little bit smaller, a little bit thinner. But even this is nice. The handle is a little bit of spongy, and it has some like foam built into it, which is great for if you get this thing wet. It dries very quick. But this is great for your average dog and your average walker. There's nothing wrong with this at all. I think it was like $20 to $30. I can't remember what it was purchased for. But this is a great lead. We use this a lot. My wife uses this tremendously with her Australian Shepherd and never had an issue. But you can see that a little bit more play, and the hardware is just a little bit thinner. But altogether, this is a good lead. Now you're going to have to excuse this one. I don't have the hardware on the end, but this is made by a company called Wallader Dog, and as you can see, this is just straight rope. It is bought, it is roped. Where the rope knots and the extra play, you can even see here they stitched this up. This was one of the first leads I actually had. Not this one in particular, but I bought this brand pushing 2 years ago at this point. And they have such a variety. I'm sorry I'm not quite getting into focus like I want to here. this thing has such, they have such variety on their products and things that they sell, that there it is, Waller Dog. They have so many varieties and lengths, and this actually comes with, at the end here, which is where the hardware would go. This is where a carabiner goes, and this is actually my daughter's leash. She walks her Belgian on this a lot, and she loves this thing. It gets wet, it dries, it's been through the washing machine, it's been drugged through the dirt, because she takes me to the farm a tremendous amount. So this thing is, I mean, I questioned myself when I made this. Is this average everyday quality, or is this premium? I don't know how their other hardware is that comes to it. They came with a carabiner that is a 20K, I believe they're called, and it has a screw attachment, and this thing locks up big time. She loves this thing, and actually all of us in the family have one of some variety. Now we're going to look at something we're going to call, be very careful of, quality. And this is, I'm not going to mention the company's name, but as you can see here, this is very thin. You can see through here compared to even the Jump Lead, made by Jump Lead. You can see how much smaller this is. It still has good positive lock, that's for sure. But you can see how much thinner this hardware is. And up underneath here, I don't know, sure I can do it with this one. Here we go. This is a paracord. Well, it appears to be a paracord, but it's really not. It has a foam core, like a foam center, and then this is kind of like wrapped around that core, and everything has just come together, folded over, and stitched at the end. We use this for, we have a mini Aussie, and this would be great for him because he, even his max pull isn't insane. He's a small dog. But this is when you start getting into the, hey, look, I saw this thing online and it was really, really affordable. And I'm not going to lie, that's kind of where this actually came from. I bought this thing online, and it's questionable if you would use this on a large dog. I put this in the low quality just because of how small this is. So maybe what I'm considering low quality is actually just designed for much smaller, much more manageable dogs that even if they're excited and try and pull, aren't going to do this. And the one advantage I do like to this, even though it is not exactly the highest quality, is this big foam handle on the end. It's actually really comfortable. I've used it just to experiment. This big foam handle is it's actually comfortable, especially if you have larger hands. So again, even if it's I am sorry, my camera is just not wanting to focus today. Even if you're looking at calling it low quality, it's not exactly low quality. Dog you have, if you have a dog that's very young and big and pulls tremendously, you're going to want something with really positive, heavy gauge metal that you're just not going to pull apart. And that you want to have a positive lock, whether you're using a carabiner, whatever word it is, something like that. Make sure you have the kind that when it closes, you can screw that gate. I think they're called 20K, which is based on, that's actually climbing ability. That's what climbers use. So that's designed that if you fall off a cliff, that's going to catch you and it's not going to fall apart. They're great. And if you don't have one, you should look into getting them. Amazon has tons of them. But if you have a very small dog who doesn't pull, and also think if it's an older dog, they're going to be weight sensitive. So all that extra weight, that's extra weight that they're actually pulling on their own, and you're not actually suspending. But I think that's going to wrap it up. Just make sure that what you buy is quality construction and fits the animal you have. And if you do that and you take care of it, whether it is nylon, leather, or some hybrid of everything, it's going to last you. So if you make a good solid purchase and you take good care of it, it's going to last you a very long time. And that's just what you want. Less money or more money and even length and better length of time and better quality. So thank you for stopping by. If you could like, subscribe, stay here. There's other videos on my channel you can gladly check out. And until next time, I'm Chad, and this is Outdoor Canine.